Go live. Go live, go live, go live.
The instruction says go live.
Go live. Go live. Go live. That's where I'm at today. How about you?
A little better than that.
Okay.
But,
I'll take it.
on a scale of 1 to 100,
I'll take it.
I can't count that
I'll take what I can get. It's because you've gotten to have meals with a bunch of your friends. You've been a party animal the last few days.
If going out twice in a row.
I mean, for us, that's a lot. You know, that's a lot twice. Happy October to you, Victoria. How the hell is it October? Does anybody know? Because I don't understand how it's October.
Where do these months keep going?
I swear. Daisy will be 2 at the end of this month.
Yep.
Daisy will be 2 at the end of this month.
We just survived. Well, mainly you survived.
Well, we'll get into that whole
right. But we'll not going to talk about content. Survived her last lap baby flight.
So, fun fact, if you did not know, babies are allowed to sit on your lap until they are 2 years old. At 2 years old,
on U.S. Airlines,
they have on almost all of them actually. Yeah, they have to have their own seat. And having just traveled with Daisy on my lap, I cannot wait for her to have her own seat because woof. That was an adventure. I will say, so hi, everybody. It's so good to be with you. We were at Fantastic Fest in Austin, Texas, where
last weekend.
It was conveniently 8 billion degrees. And that's not an exaggeration. That is the actual it was 8 billion degrees. Oh, it was so obscenely hot. The funniest part is my daughter, I keep joking that Daisy doesn't know that we're really pale yet. Daisy doesn't know how white we are yet because she thinks she can go outside when the weather is warm, but not just warm, like this kind of warm, this insane heat. And she does not know she can't. So one of the funniest things that kept happening in Austin as we were visiting with different friends is that my child was perpetually trying to play outside and being thwarted because she was turning neon colors because it was just too darn hot for my baby. But yeah, man, oh man, we had a really good time as always. Yes, that's where we were last week. And before that, you went to a screening or something. Yeah, it's been busy, and it's getting into the part of the year that gets busier and busier and busier, which is fun, but also wild, trying to keep track of everything. So we went to Fantastic Fest. I think this is like our 8th or 9th year
something like
doing it. Sorry, if you don't know, I'm looking down because I'm making sure that our stuff is working on all the platforms. So the first year we went, they contacted me and said, we'd like to give your dad an award. Is there any way you think that he would come to the festival? And I knew nothing about it, but I knew that a couple of our friends went. And I thought, well, if so-and-so likes it and so-and-so likes it, then odds are at the very least we'll have a good time.
And my oldest friend at that time, was living in Austin, which is another motivation to go there.
That was also, it was a nice thing to have some familiarity. I've been going to Austin for years now for South by Southwest, and it's only recently that you have started joining me in that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Austin pretty well, and figured, hey, why not? Let's go. And we did, and we had a wonderful time, and we made a lot of really, really great friends. So we've gone ever since. And last year was the first time going with Daisy, which meant I didn't see any movies. And this year that did not change. I saw nothing. We tease my mother. What happens is my mom is supposed to come with us to watch the baby. She forgets about that and gets really excited about watching movies and meeting people. And I always say to her, fair enough. So that's what ended up happening. You guys went and saw Caligula, this revamped Caligula. Yes, sit up. You're at a funny angle. As per usual, you're at a funny
That's
angle.
why I brought over another pillow.
I know. I just want to get you as straight as I can get
you. Can you reach over and grab this other one? Yep. Yeah, that's the one.
Is that good?
Yeah.
How about like that?
Better.
Better?
Better.
Better.
Caligula is a notorious movie that was bankrolled by Bob Guccione, the founder of Penthouse. And he spent a lot of money and hired a director named Tinto Brass and commissioned a script from Gore Vidal, who later repudiated the entire project.
I hate when people repudiate things.
And it starred Malcolm McDowell, Peter O'Toole, Helen Mirren, John Gielgud, and some others. They were the principal, best-known actors in the cast. And it became kind of an embarrassment for everyone involved. Well, this fellow who has some film credentials, but also is a historian, spent 3 years rebuilding the movie from scratch. Because when it was released, Guccione inserted pornographic lovemaking scenes that didn't involve any of those actors. And it was, for some people, a highlight, for some a distraction, for everyone an intrusion on the movie. So he rebuilt the movie from the original takes, the original soundtrack recordings, better line readings than were used. Apparently there's none of the released movie in the reconstructed movie, and vice versa. It's essentially a new movie.
Yeah.
But it still isn't very good.
Well, but the reason, the thing
almost
is,
3 hours.
You're a glutton for punishment. You chose to go. The reason that we that you saw it is because we got to interview Malcolm McDowell. So what you doing, Logan? Get it, whatever it is, murder it to death. There is something. Oh, I think that's a butterfly. It's either a butterfly or a moth, and I can't tell. And it's walking on the couch. And Logan wants it to die. Can you not see it?
Oh, I can't. Oh, there it is.
Is it a bee? Logan?
Could be any of the above.
Do me a favor, Logie. Don't go near it. I just want to make sure that he doesn't eat the bee. I think it's a bee. Yes, I've decided that it is a bee. It's at a little bit of a distance. Yeah.
It's an injured bee.
It's a very injured bee. Logan, just pretty please don't touch. I'm sorry, guys. I just want to make sure that Logan doesn't eat the bee and everything and get sick or something. Logie. Yeah, let's leave the bee alone. Come here, bear. Come here, bear. Come here, bear. Come here. One
night.
Oh, Logie.
Sidebar.
Yeah.
One night in my class at USC. It's either a cockroach or a water bug, but the biggest damn insect you ever saw started walking across the stage.
Oh, God.
The apron of the stage.
Oh, God.
And I'm trying to keep eye contact with my guest that night, whoever it was. But I can't stop staring at this. And most of the students couldn't see it.
Yeah, of course. Of course they couldn't. Yeah, it's enough of a distance. So you're just staring. Oh, Logan is doing this like dance around the bee because he wants to know what it is. I'm going to hang on.
All right.
I'm going to take care of that. I don't want you to get hurt, little bear. I do not wish for you to get hurt, little bear. Oh, Mabel, don't you join in either. No. Everybody just walk away from this situation.
Never a dull moment.
Everybody just walk away from this situation.
In our house, as much as anyone's, never a dull moment.
Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Okay, now I do not have to worry. Better. Anyway, so every year at Fantastic Fest, we do interviews for our show. And this year, it was not as many options because of the various strikes.
Yes.
But they come to us and they say, do you want to interview Malcolm McDowell? And we've actually been trying to get him, but he's always traveling for work.
He worked a lot.
So he has a very nice publicist manager guy that we have dealt with, and we've tried, but he's always working. So I was like, yes, absolutely. That's perfect. We would love to interview him. And we did, which was so much fun. He is really spectacular. He is a storyteller.
He's a great raconteur.
He's just great. He's just great. And we had such a fantastic conversation.
We had a wonderful time with him.
That you will never hear because they screwed up and didn't record it.
Yes, that's what happened.
So we recorded that last Sunday, and I was really excited because it was such a good one, and I was so excited to share it and just have it for posterity as well because, you know, and then they let me know several days later that it had not been recorded. So,
oh well.
Now we'll see if we can try to get him again. The thing is, he's spectacular. So I know even if we interviewed him again, it's not like it wouldn't still be great.
No.
It just sucks. Is all. The most articulate say it sucks, and I'm really sad about that. So, what do you do?
Did he talk about A Clockwork Orange? That was the last thing I asked him about.
We spoke about
because he's talked about that so much. Not that there isn't always interesting thing.
No, but he's had such a long and interesting career that it's not really thing. It's, you know, we've had this before when we interview someone who's really well known for something.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, it's kind of like you feel that, yes, you have to ask them about the thing, whatever the thing is. But you don't want it to just be about that thing. And what I always find is that people really love that we don't just talk about the thing.
We talked about his beginnings. We talked
career.
about his unusual working relationship with Lindsay Anderson, the great director.
His relationship with Sir Laurence Olivier. Larry. I will never handle the fact that people refer to Laurence Olivier as Larry. That will just never be a thing I accept. Out of curiosity, how did you guys get the idea to do these videos every once in a while? Oh, well,
pandemic.
Yeah, we started in the pandemic, and we just loved being with everybody, and it was a nice distraction for us and for others. And so we started doing it, and it was every single week. And then when the world started to come back to life and we started having obligations, that's when it became, unfortunately, not as frequent. But we try our best. In between work and stuff like that. But we love it because it's just a lot of fun to be with everybody. It is, as several people are mentioning, it is Julie Andrews' birthday today.
God bless her.
She's the queen. Like, really, so I've gotten to meet her, like actually meet her twice. You many more times than that.
That first meeting took place at what was then the 45th anniversary of Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
They had a screening at the El Capitan Theater on Hollywood Boulevard.
But it was more than a screening. It was a big.
Oh no, it was an event.
It was a big event.
They turned it into an event.
Yeah.
And I was there with the Entertainment Tonight crew, and I said, "My daughter." That was when you were at San Francisco's.
It was when I was briefly in college. When I was very briefly in college, I said, "I'm going to miss some days. I have to see." Are you kidding? The opportunity to meet any of that cast who was going to be there and see it on a big screen. I'm going. This is not even a question. I'm going.
So I said to Miss Andrews, "This is my daughter, Jessie. She flew down from San Francisco just to be here.
She's missing school.
She's missing school
to be here.
She simply had to meet you." And she
gave me a big hug.
On cue, gave Jessie a big hug.
A big hug, which was, I mean, genuinely one of the best days ever, right? The only thing that could top that day was the fact that they had penguins in bow ties walking up and down the carpet. And I was like, yes, if I died right now, I'd have not a single one. I love penguins, and I really love penguins in bow ties. And they just kept parading them back and forth, and it was the greatest day. The other time I would say hello to her was at the TCM Film Festival.
Their opening night.
And I don't think I've ever chased someone quite as hate. Like I was just so determined.
Jesse laid down the gauntlet
I did.
and said to me, I need to have a picture of myself with Julie
I
Andrews.
had, and I'm not a big
And
picture person.
I said, I'll do my best. She said, no. This has
to happen. I'm not a big picture person. I don't like taking pictures in general. But there are those moments where like I have to, it's for myself. It's not for anybody else. It's for me. I need to have a picture. So I have what can only be described as an absolutely horrible photo of the two of us. It's super dark. We're moving. I didn't care. I just wanted to say hello. And as I say, it's for me. It's not for anybody else. It's just to look at it and go, oh, there she is. She is one of many of that generation who knows exactly what to give her audience. We've been very lucky to get to meet a number of those kinds of people. Dick Van Dyke, not just the cast of Mary Poppins, but you know, a lot of those kinds
Angela
of people.
Lansbury.
And they just understand. I mean, I always go back to your experience with Debbie Reynolds because that's that's perfect. It's perfect. If you need a refresher on that particular story, because it's one of my favorites, you were interviewing her at the TCM
Festival following the screening of The Unsinkable Molly Brown, one of her signature performances. And we were up on a platform at the Egyptian Theater, soon to be reopened Egyptian Theater.
Thank goodness.
And there was no direct exit.
There's only two ways in or out of the theater in a grand sense. There's only two actual exits. So there's different ways you can walk around, but there's only two ways to get outside. One is to your right and it goes to the parking lot. And that's sort of where they spirit. If somebody isn't going to walk through the audience or meet people, you can spirit them out that door and nobody knows where they've gone. They just disappear. But if they intend on going up and into the lobby or anything like that, there you have to go.
So they had a battery of security guards, big burly men you wouldn't want to tackle with, to create. I think it's called a phalanx. Around Debbie, and securely walk her out of the theater. But Debbie was in no hurry because Debbie knew that her most devoted fans were there, and she wanted to give them an opportunity to wave.
Well, she had your arm.
Yeah.
You were walking with her, and you were walking too quickly, and she slowed you down because she wanted to give everyone a moment.
Yep.
And this is the training that a lot of young people just don't get. They don't necessarily understand. I also get that nowadays with camera phones and also people just behaving badly, there's a lot. Some have every right to want to get the hell away. You know, I get that. I get that they may not want to hang out because it's a lot to deal with. But at the same time, there is something wonderful about watching someone. I mean, as I say, like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, and a number of those kinds of Johnny Depp, a number of those kinds of big stars today, they will stop for a very long time and sign autographs and take pictures. They don't like to deal with press that much.
No, for fans. They'll do this for fans.
So Johnny Depp does very few interviews, especially on carpets.
The night I interviewed him at the Santa Barbara Film Festival, which is now maybe 6 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
He ducked out of the theater to avoid press, to avoid even posing for official photos for the festival.
Yeah.
But when he went out the rear entrance of the Arlington Theater, there was a cluster of fans there, and he stayed
for an hour.
He stayed posing for selfies and shaking
signing.
hands and signing for those fans.
So he didn't do the red carpet coming in. And the thing is this, when you're a certain level of fame, you don't need to do it. You know, the reality is when you get to a certain point in your career, you don't need to do interviews or press. You can do them if you like, but it's not like a make or break situation.
Right.
So when Angelina Jolie chooses not to do a press line, it's because she doesn't have to. If she wants to, she can, but she doesn't have to. And so there are a number of people who just don't do them. But they will stay for fans. They
Yep.
will remain. And I have a great deal of respect for that. Because as I say, those are the people, who really want to talk to you. And I think, I think that's really valuable. And again, I do understand that it's I mean, look, you see some of the videos of like Taylor Swift coming out of her apartment or something, and there's a million people crowding and squishing, and you think, well, that's miserable. I wouldn't want that. But again, it is really beautiful to watch the older stars giving the audience
Yeah.
exactly what they want.
Yep.
Taking their time and knowing that it has an effect.
Many, many, many years ago.
How many?
Many,
Many?
almost 40.
There you go.
We went to a reception for the Museum of Television and Radio, as it was then called, and it was at LACMA.
Mm-hmm.
And we had valet parking, so we pulled up on Wilshire Boulevard to the front entrance, and we're about to go in when I noticed over to the side there was a small cluster. There's that word again. We like it because it's cluster.
Yeah, my mother would say cluster. It's a cluster.
Small cluster of people surrounding a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman was Lucille Ball, who was taking out a few minutes
Mm-hmm.
to meet and greet her fans.
Mm.
And I got a picture with her that night too.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Mommy was just reading that thing. David McCallum just passed away. He and my mother share a birthday. Alice turned 80 on September 19th, and David McCallum turned 90 and then passed away. And one of the things that she was reading, I guess in the New York Times somewhere, she was reading it, that he loved to walk everywhere in New York City. He really loved walking. And that is not a rare thing for somebody who lives there to feel. It's a great walking city. But he said he would always build in 20 minutes.
15 minutes to talk to people about NCIS.
Because people always want to stop him and take pictures. And again, there's just that mentality that is something that they have, and they get that people get very excited to meet them. And I love that. It's kind of wild how nostalgia has taken over in such a significant way. There are these 90s cons that they keep doing where the stars of the 90s show. And let me tell you, they sell out. They are full. People want their pictures, because whatever age you are, if they had a 60s con with all of the people that you grew up watching on TV, you'd go,
One of Ray Court's autograph shows, I surveyed the scene.
Yes.
And saw my whole life pass before me.
Yeah, absolutely.
People I watched, from the 50s. I was born in December of 1950. So I have
a true boomer.
Pretty clear memories from the mid 50s on.
Yeah.
There the 50s people, the 60s people, the 70s people.
Yeah.
I mean, there was Gordon Scott. He was my Tarzan. Because when I was of age to go to see Tarzan the Magnificent, that
was your Tarzan.
That was my Tarzan.
No, it's very, as I say, whenever people love to ask this question, who's the most famous person you've ever met? Very popular question. I get it. You get it. If you grow up here, everybody has that. And the reality is it's someone you grew up with. So while you could say meeting George Lucas or Steven Spielberg, you could say someone, a very well-known name. The reality is when you see someone that you watched on TV when you were a kid, when you see them, that's when you lose your mind. That's part of what made Betty White so special. And she's another one who had that training. Whether you watched the Mary Tyler Moore Show or you watched Golden Girls, and that's a gap between the two, but they were so beloved. And she worked a lot. It's not like that's all she did. But, I, like a lot of other people, watched Golden Girls with my mother and my grandmother. That was a thing that the three of us did. It was very special to us. So for me, it meant the world when I got to say that to her. And she responded, she's heard it a billion times, right? And she just went, I really appreciate you saying that.
So many young people tell me that.
And, but to me, and again, I knew it's not like I'm saying something unique, but it's the truth. I love her. And again, I think that's part of why she's so smart as a businesswoman, so smart because she stayed in that lane.
Yeah.
She worked and she worked and she worked and she knew how people felt about her and she embraced that, which I think is key. But also just she genuinely seemed to care, which what more do you need really? You know?
Okay. New business.
Okay, new business.
Last night, brother and I watched Flora and Son.
Yes, which
The
I really,
latest
really
film,
want to see.
latest film by written and directed by John Carney.
Yes.
Uh,
Who we love.
Who we love. This is the Irish filmmaker whose credits are Once, Begin Again,
Sing Street, which is one of the best things ever.
And now this.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing something else on his CV, but
yeah.
He's a romantic. And he believes in the transformative power of music. And you see both of those strains in everything he does. And this latest film it's simple. Some would say almost too simple, but it's a charmer.
Yeah,
it's a charmer.
Well, again, it is. It's not a bad thing for a movie to be predictable in a way that is enjoyable.
Yeah,
it's okay if you watch the other day in Austin, because you have the hotel TV. Which one was it? Mother's Day, the Gary Marshall Mother's Day. Remember, he did Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, a bunch of them, and they're very cheesy. But it was not, and we sort of went, oh, but it's nice knowing everybody's going to be okay. There's something nice knowing no one's going to die. Yeah. Everything's fine. It's Josh liked it. Josh Clements said he liked it. I'm glad you watched it, Josh. I haven't seen it yet. I really want to, though. I'm really looking.
And then we watched the first of Wes Anderson's Roald Dahl adaptations, The Wonderful Life of Henry Sugar. Am I getting that right?
Yes.
Okay. 39 minutes long, with Ralph Fiennes, Benedict Cumberbatch, Ben Kingsley, and Dev Patel. And I may be forgetting someone else. But I respect and admire Wes Anderson, but his most recent films are leaving me cold because they're cold. They're cold movies. They're so stylized. They're so stylized that there's almost no. Richard Ayoade.
Richard Ayoade, yeah.
They're so stylized that there's no human connection, and so they leave me wanting. I know that he completed, I think, 4 of these short films.
Okay.
So we'll give the others a try.
Yeah. It's tricky,
but not eagerly.
It's tricky. It's a tricky thing. I think that it's great when someone is recognizable. It's like singing, right? If somebody has a really recognizable voice, it's great that when they come on the radio, you immediately know it's so-and-so. And with a lot of these sort of filmmakers, it's fun knowing that you're going to get something that looks really cool. The problem is it can't just be looks, It can't just be looks. It has to be more than that. And I don't mind Wes Anderson, but I'm not someone who says, oh, he has a new one, I can't wait to see it. If I see it, I see it. It's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
will say, seeing his stuff, we were in Savannah at the SCAD Film Festival. Do you remember that we went and saw a little exhibit that they had?
A couple of his sets.
That was really cool, seeing that stuff. But it's like, but that was better than the movie even, was just seeing what they created, because it was so cool.
It was the one about the Island of Dogs.
Yes. Was it called Isle of Dogs? It might have been called Isle of Dogs. Someone's saying, so they're catching up. Have you seen Flora and Son? Yes. Have you seen Dumb Money? I want to see that.
No, I want to see that. We were supposed to go the other night, and then we couldn't.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Because we were exhausted from the trip to Austin.
Oh my God, what a trip.
So that's on my to-do list.
Yes.
And I'm going to see Fair Play
Yep, that was the other question.
this week. I also saw Creator.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And no good, no bueno. Okay. Yes, Kevin, I agree. I think Moonrise Kingdom is one of my favorites. Yes, I agree with you, Kevin. I really like Moonrise Kingdom.
My very favorite is still
Fantastic Mr. Fox?
no, early one.
Not the family.
No.
No, you don't like that one. I don't know, man.
You know which one?
Rushmore? No, what is it? Hold please. I don't know.
With Jason Schwartzman.
Is it Rushmore?
Rushmore.
Rushmore? Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
Whack the thing. I love Rushmore. I think Rushmore is one of the best things that's ever happened.
And Grand Budapest Hotel. Those are my two favorites.
Yeah. Though we've been to that hotel. Not a very nice hotel.
Well, it's not a real hotel.
Physically?
No.
Yes.
No, that was no.
Do you not remember that was the whole thing?
No.
The outside, that was the, I know, but I'm just saying that was the whole shtick, is that they did use some of the interiors. They told us repeatedly.
Okay.
Repeatedly, they told us it was a thing. Oh, Bottle Rocket. I'm looking it up.
That's his first feature.
I love Bottle Rocket. It's wonderful.
That's his first feature.
I love Bottle Rocket. I love Rushmore. I think those two are just spectacular films. I do really like Moonrise Kingdom. And the thing too is I enjoyed first time we got to meet him was at the what's it called? The LAFCA dinner, the LA Film Critics dinner. And it was really cool to sort of just talk to him. He was just so nice. Like, he was very normal and nice, and that made me happy.
The last time I got to talk to him, I got to tell him that I so enjoyed the Grand Budapest Hotel, which was inspired by the stories of I'm dropping names right and left here. The author whose work based on, look it up. You're the one with the phone. I don't need a memory anymore.
You have a phone.
I have a phone.
Yes, well, I have no memory of anything at this point. It's the lack of sleep, I've realized.
Wes Anderson edited an anthology, Stefan Zweig.
There you go.
See, I didn't need the phone. I just needed the pressure. An anthology of short stories and excerpts from novels by Stefan Zweig, who was Austrian-born and then became sort of a wanderer, during the Nazi era. And
during the Nazi era.
And is a fascinating man. Mm-hmm. And his writing is elegant and imaginative and quite wonderful. And it was called the Society of the Crossed Keys, because in Grand Budapest Hotel there's an unofficial society of concierges, hotel concierges. That's not an easy plural to say. Concierges.
Concierges.
Yeah.
Concierges.
Yeah. Those guys.
Wes Anderson is the cilantro of the film world. You just never know which film you'll love or hate. That is an interesting, I'll go with that. Yeah. As I say, I never find his stuff worthless. I mean, it's always interesting at least to look at. There's something about it. But yeah, sometimes it being pretty is not enough. Here's a question. Name a horror movie that really scared you. For me, it was The Exorcist, 1973.
That's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Laugh, clown, laugh.
Not the film.
Just the poster. No, I think the scariest one I've ever seen is The Man Who Laughed.
The Man Who Laughs.
The Man Who Laughed is one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life.
The 1928 film with Conrad Veidt.
If you've ever seen that, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Based on a Victor Hugo.
You will also be effing terrified. It's very scary. It is very, very scary. And see, I am very much one of those people. I can watch. There's that thing, I remember learning about this in psychology, that we do not react when a person is shot or lit on fire or an explosion, because we have no way of knowing what that feels like. But if I show you it's a paper cut, you go, ooh, because we can experience that. We know what that feels like. So to me, the real scary stuff is not so much the psychological, it's when you see something and you go, oh God, I can imagine or picture that. So with The Man Who Laughs, the idea that this person has this permanent smile on their face, and his eyes, when he's upset or anything, it to me, you can feel a lot of that. Again, that's why a lot of those Saw movies I find sort of, I don't enjoy watching them, but if the ones I've seen, it's sort of like you can't even imagine what they're creating, and why would you want to? So that doesn't necessarily get me in the same way.
Mhm.
Though I think we do know that the less you see, the scarier something
Yeah.
is.
I believe in that.
You know?
And I like eerie stories. I
Yeah.
like The Others
Mm-hmm.
by Almodovar, the Spanish filmmaker.
Yeah.
That's a ghost story essentially,
Yeah.
and where the ghosts are real.
Yeah. Was
Not
the
not
Joker based
imagined.
on The Man Who Laughs?
Yeah.
You'd think, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
If not out loud, still. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. As I say, even if you've never seen the film, look it up. Look up The Man Who Laughs and look at the original. And even just the picture of him
Yeah.
is scary. It's very scary. Mommy was saying, we were watching TV and there was a commercial for Halloween Horror Nights. And Mom just looked at me, she goes, I just have no interest in being scared. And I said, yeah, I have a lot of friends who love going on haunts. They love this kind of stuff, very into it. And, may they live and be well. I'm not going with them. Yeah, I'm the same. It just doesn't, some people love it. They really do. And that's great. And you're allowed to love it. It just doesn't do it for me. Yeah, I'd rather not have someone jump out at me or scream in my face. No. I have a toddler, guys. I don't need to go somewhere to have something scream in my face, okay? I can do that at home. Oh God, I do have to. So on this flight, what I will lovingly call the flight from hell home from Austin, Daisy was very tired and had not slept, and it was becoming a problem. And then mid-flight, after she'd done a lot of on the flight, initially she was okay, at least noise-wise was okay. And then about halfway through the flight, she projectile vomited all over me. And I was sitting there going, this is it. This is my life. These are my choices. Oh, hell. And then we had to clean it up and figure it out and get home. And when I did, I texted my husband and I say, I love this child more than I have ever loved anything. Also, I am covered in vomit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, it was
a Persian version.
Sure, it was an adventure. You are how many weeks into class already? I guess
4 or 5. 5.
Must be 5. Yeah, 5 weeks into class, and you showed a movie that you liked very much that got attention in.
It won the Waldo Salt Screen Award at this year's Sundance Film Festival, but more significantly, to my way of thinking, it won the Audience Award, and especially at
at Sundance, that means something.
That really that has weight. That carries a real seal of approval.
Yeah,
because these folks have sat through such a wide variety of films over the course of a week, 10 days. If they pick this one, okay, I'll pay attention. It's a really good film called The Persian Version, written and directed by Maryam Keshavarz. And my guest was the composer, Rostam
Batmanglij?
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
No, Batmanglij.
Sure.
It ends in a J.
His last name is Batmanglij, if you're wondering why we're struggling to pronounce it properly.
He's American-born to Iranian immigrant parents. And he is the co-founder of Vampire Weekend, which...
things you never think your dad will say to you. Hey, Jess, do you know Vampire Weekend? If you don't know who they are, they're a band. They were popular when I was younger.
Anyway, he's got Grammy Awards.
Yeah. They did well.
And he had several rabid fans in my class who were just thrilled that he was there.
Yeah.
I was thrilled because he was very articulate and he first film composer that we've had this semester, and he spoke very, very eloquently about the motivation for this kind of music or this strain of music in the film. And I think they got a real sense of the collaboration and how that worked.
Yeah.
So it was a very successful night.
Yeah, and I'm so glad. It's so tough, because for the most part, you don't know, you haven't seen the movies you show. It really is sort of a let's cross our fingers and hope, if nothing else, it's a good experience. Even if they don't like the film, that there's something in it.
Yeah.
It's a great conversation afterwards.
Right.
Oh, that's very, Arthur says, Jesse, I love that maternal attitude. You are so much at peace with yourself. That's very kind. At multiple points on the flight, I said, this is it. I'm going to die. This is the end. She was just so upset, poor kid, and just needed to sleep and couldn't sleep. And it was really hard. It was really, really hard. The flight over, she was crawling around you and me pretty much for 3 hours. Now my dad is her favorite person. I don't think there's a contest on that one. She absolutely adores my dad. And she kind of has that short-term memory of a dog where you can walk away from her for 5 minutes or you can walk away from her for an hour or 5 hours. She goes, Grandpa! And every time it's this extreme excitement followed by running. She runs to him. So she was very excited that we got to sit together on the plane. But man, it's no small feat. And traveling with kids is rough. But I'm lucky, at least I was with my parents. And so she had lots of snuggling and everything, but that was tough. That was very, very tough.
I attended my first Doug Benson interruption.
Oh yeah.
In Austin. Doug, who is the host and creator of Doug Loves Movies, the podcast that I've
been on a number of times now.
Yeah. Over how many years has he done it, you think? 10?
Oh, I don't even know.
Anyway.
Time. His show?
Yeah.
Oh, longer, I think. I don't know.
Anyway, Doug travels. He's a stand-up comic, and he is in constant motion, going from one town to another, playing the local comedy clubs. And sometimes he does Doug Loves Movies in person, which is to play the games that he devises for his show. Sometimes he just does stand-up. And sometimes he and fellow comics in whatever he's in sit with microphones.
He goes to a lot of film festivals.
Yeah. Sit with microphones and heckle a movie. And it's called the Benson Interruption. So Mommy and I had never seen the Tippi Hedren film Roar.
Which is an adventure. It's an adventure to watch that movie, let me tell you.
This movie is insane. This movie is just insane. You may know of Tippi Hedren's wildlife refuge here in Southern California called Shambhala, where there are lions and tigers and
big cats. It's all big cats.
Yeah.
They have panthers, everything. I've been there.
Well, this movie, which stars her then husband, Noel Marshall, who also gets directing credit, and it's just nuts. It's her real family contending with all these wild animals in Africa. I don't know what else to say to it, but the best way to see it was the way we saw it, with Doug and two fellow comics just, saying what we were thinking.
Yeah. This is a terrible idea. Why are you doing that? Yeah. He's I love Doug. And I'll tell you, we've known Doug for a long time now. And he has a reputation. Part of his thing is that he smokes weed. He has a podcast called Getting Doug with High. A lot of crazy things like that. But he's a really nice guy. He loves you. And we have a lot of fun together. So it's always fun. And he's very good with Daisy. He loves Daisy. And they are buddies. And it is very funny for me to watch the two of them together because it is not something I ever would have expected in my life. Would Jesse ever do Dancing with the Stars, Amazing Race, or Big Brother? I am not and will never be famous enough to do any of those things. I think I would have to be famous in some way to have to do those things. And no, I can't imagine doing them. That would be terrifying.
Craig is thanking me for promoting, well, the one who does the social media bursts, the showing of the early talkie Her Man last week. And I'm so glad you tuned it in. It's a really good movie. And yes, it was a restored version of the film, unlike the crappy copies that you can find on YouTube. Really interesting film directed by Tay Garnett, an underrated director whose best known film is The Postman Always Rings Twice, with Lana Turner and John Garfield. He was a talented guy. When he had good material and the book to back it up, he came up with good ideas.
And like that. Have you guys picked up the recent Looney Tunes Collector's Choice Blu-ray? Volume 2 is coming out this November.
I have it, but I haven't broken the seal on it yet. I have to get to that. I am looking forward to it. No, Doug is not a hippie. Doug is the stoner.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There is he is not a hippie at all. No, he's a stoner. And the reason he is a stoner is he's quite neurotic. He can have a bit of OCD, and I think it just relaxes him. But again, we've known him for such a long time at this point that we sort of just see him as Doug. So he's really sweet with all of us. He's great with my mom. I love his girlfriend. Yeah. So we see a very different side of him. But yeah, watching him play with Daisy, as I say, just not something I have a bingo card. Matt is asking, are there any actors or actresses with whom you have difficulty watching their work once something in their lives becomes public? I have this challenge with Mel Gibson, although I can still enjoy him in Mad Max / Road Warrior, perhaps because that character is angry and struggling in a world that is toxic. I can apply my annoyance of the artist and it helps his art. I think it's very hard.
Yeah.
Well, this is okay. So this is the new season of American Horror Story has just started, and Kim Kardashian is on it. Now, Kim Kardashian is a great actress, as we all know. But so she is playing a character in this. And I was just saying this to you guys yesterday. I'm really trying to just watch it and not let myself go, Kim Kardashian. Like, I'm trying to just watch it. Part of the problem, though, and I think this is where they screwed up, the makers of the show, is that her look in the show is her look. Her makeup is exactly as her makeup looks. Her clothing is what she would wear already, And so I think it really would have helped if they would have changed the way she looked in some way. Now, she's supposed to be a very high power publicist. So the way she looks is fitting to a degree. But if I were them, I just would have taken something a different direction. I would have tried to put her, she doesn't wear a lot of color in her real life. I would have tried to put some color on her, done something so that it's not just watching Kim Kardashian. Now, as I say, she's not an actress that is not, but it's true. You watch something and you're trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, right, whatever it is.
Right.
And this is why some actors work so hard to keep their private lives private. So that you're not looking at someone going, oh, you just had twins and you're in the middle of a really ugly divorce and you're doing this. That's not, it shouldn't be what you see.
Yeah. But but it is hard sometimes.
But it's the reality.
And I was lucky enough to read an advanced copy of Scott Iman's new book, which is coming out on Halloween, October 31. And it's called The United States versus Charlie Chaplin versus the United States of America, from Simon & Schuster. It's a terrific book, and it goes into great detail about how Chaplin suffered in the 1940s from real life spilling over into his on-screen persona, especially when he made a very daring black comedy like Monsieur Verdoux, which just treated as major works, and was essentially frozen out by American audiences in 1947. Which brings me to today's little collectible corner, and I do mean little. So I'm going to hold these up to each of our cameras here. This is a pin from 1940 that says, "Keep America free to laugh at the great dictator."
This is one of my favorite pins that you have. My favorite pin, and it is a favorite pin, is "I do not read Hearst
I
papers."
brought it along.
That is my favorite. Let's see if I can get it to. I know it's hard to read. It's just writing. It's just writing here.
Keep America free to laugh at the great dictator.
Yeah.
One of the things I didn't know or didn't appreciate fully is what a big success the great dictator was. It was a critical and commercial success.
Yeah.
And of course, a very daring film to make. A film he was urged not to make.
Yeah.
By some of the other studio chiefs.
This is a good. So Patrick is saying, on behalf of my good friend Vile Eye, he hosts and produces Analyzing Evil, a YouTube series profiling fictional villains from assorted media. Who is the most memorable evildoer you've ever seen on the big and or small screen? Well, who's your favorite bad guy, Daddy? You have stamps of him. I tried to make you shirts with his
Ming
face
the
on
Merciless?
it. Yes.
Ming the Merciless.
Ming the Merciless.
As portrayed by the great Charles Middleton in the original Flash Gordon serial.
Because how do you not love Ming the Merciless?
Okay. This is a nice pin. Whoop.
I like that. This is a nice pin.
I'm holding upside down. All New York goes to the Roxy. All New York goes to the Roxy. Now, my mother tells me that she took me to the Roxy when I was 4 years old. And I have no recollection of that.
Wow. That is a very Jackie thing to do, though. She would
yeah.
absolutely have taken you there. Economy. Oh, what does it say on the side? It's folded. It says economy something on the side of it.
Okay. This is a fun one.
Oh, Ben is saying for me, Ming is Max von. Is it Cito? Cito. I always thought it was Max von Sydow, but you remember when he was nominated and nobody could decide how they spelled it?
Will Rogers. He chews to run. As in chewing tobacco.
It's hard. These are so small, guys. I'm sorry. They're not really showing as well.
This is a tiny pin that gets lost on any lapel. You try.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorite logos.
The Pathé Rooster. They say it's hard to see, but it's a tiny rooster. Tiny, tiny rooster.
Pathé Rooster still in use.
Yes.
Still in use.
Yes.
You see,
we were somewhere and we saw the logo, and you about lost your mind. I can't remember. Somewhere in Europe, we saw it. It was nuts.
Oh well, these should be a pair, really. William Randolph Hearst for mayor.
You had to bring all your little bitty guys today.
Yeah. Followed by.
Oh, we're crossing here.
Yeah. I do not read Hearst newspapers.
Which is my very favorite pin that you have. I do not read Hearst papers.
Whoops.
That's my. I love it because if someone were to actually read it, I love the conversation that could be had if they know what it means. And there's so few people who would know what it means that it's sort of like a taste maker, if you will.
Well, you have to know who Larry Seaman was to appreciate that. And no one knows who Larry Seaman is.
There
Well, in this crowd, there are people who know who Larry Seaman was. And this one is a recent acquisition.
And you're very proud of it.
I'm very proud of it because it's the Gaumont British Junior Club for boys and girls. From the United Kingdom, Gaumont British.
What did you think of Path of Glory, starring Kirk Douglas?
Well, it's a great film. It's a great, great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by Stanley Kubrick. And it was because of that film that Kubrick got to direct Spartacus with Kirk Douglas, because Kirk produced starring in Paths of Glory. And then Spartacus began under the direction of Anthony Mann, and he and Kirk had some sort of dispute or falling out, and Kubrick was brought in as the last-minute replacement.
Hmm.
And,
Oh, there you go.
and made good.
This year marks the 50th anniversary of The Exorcist. Do you remember the first time that you saw it?
Yes, I do. I know exactly. I was at the Warner Brothers screening room on Fifth Avenue in New York City, and I remember as the music began, the Tubular Bells music, and there's sort of like a low hum, some sort of audio hum, a feeling of dread, a feeling of unease that was maintained throughout the picture. I mean, I was uncomfortable watching it. I'm the world's biggest wuss when it comes to jump scares.
But you're our wuss.
That is the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Have you seen the Hancock Park estate sale this week?
And by the way, I'm not going to see the new one.
No. There's no need for that.
I don't need to punish myself.
There's no need for that. Have you seen the Hancock Park estate sale this week? Rare Hollywood treasures.
No.
I do not know of such a thing. But we will have to look it up.
The only Hollywood treasures that we would even consider purchasing are about this size.
We have no more space.
We have no room for anything else.
There's no more space, guys. No, it is. We have no space left. We are spaceless, if you will. But yeah, did you see A Clockwork Orange? You know what? I saw it such a long time ago. When's the last time you saw it?
I saw it on its 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
When Malcolm was touring with it.
Yeah.
And they had a screening at the Academy, and it was just as I remembered it. It's still an audacious, original, provocative film. All those adjectives apply, and many others too.
Yeah.
And he told us that he essentially designed his own costume.
So he and Stanley spent quite a bit of time together, sort of going over everything in Stanley's home and figuring out how they wanted things to be done. And then he said to him, "And what do you think he should wear?" And he said, "Well, what do you have with you?" And he went and looked, and he had his cricket uniform in the back of his car. And the cricket uniform is what he wears in the film. He put it on, and then, yeah, that's right. Wear that. Wear it on the outside. Wear the protective stuff on the outside. That's what you're gonna wear. So that is how that came to be. It's his cricket uniform, which is just so funny how those things happen. But yeah, it was so. Again, I'm so sad the interview's gone because it was so interesting. But yeah, he had so many comments that were just kind of fascinating. He's worked for so long, and he's worked with so many different kinds of people. And yeah,
he's on a TV show right now. He's in his third season of a show called
Canadian show
called Son of a Critch, and it's apparently a very sweet show. And he plays a benign character for once, a grandpa.
Yeah,
and
he loves it. He really loves the show.
He's enjoying it, and it's been picked up here by the CW.
Yeah, because they need stuff. But yeah, that's great. Oh, we should mention, yes, the writer's strike has ended. Praise Jeebus, the writer's strike has ended. Now we can only hope that some things come together so that the actors can also finish their strike and their strike.
Wouldn't that be nice?
What we said from the beginning is what it was going to take was the right people getting angry. That's what it always takes, I think, for a lot of this sort of stuff. It takes the right people being pissed off to get where you need to go. And so with the writers, that was a big piece of it, is you finally just pissed off the right people who said, okay, we have to figure this out. Like, we have to figure this out, and it needs to happen now. I think SAG may take longer because there are so many details, and they haven't been as long. But they have so many details in the contract that they're trying to figure out, and I don't know what's going to come of that. But I'm thrilled that at least one of them is done.
And
I'll take it.
I don't know to what extent the WGA contract will serve as a template for the actors.
They wanted different things,
Yeah.
so it's not really.
Yeah.
Most of it is not the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it does come down in many cases to that AI stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's so many other details they were trying to work out. So yeah, I don't know that one will affect, but we'll see. We'll find out, won't we? We'll find out. Won't we? I hope we'll find out sooner than later. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. You look online and you see these different films that are happening, and you try to keep straight what's where and what's coming out and what looks interesting. There's a handful of stuff that I think does look good. You've seen some of them already.
Well, I can say because they've both been festival screened,
yeah,
and reviewed in the trade papers, as we used to call them. Two of the best films of the year are, without question, Alexander Payne's The Holdovers with Paul Giamatti and Divine Joy Randolph, and a newcomer whose name eludes me right at this moment, and Jeff Nichols' The Bike Riders with Tom Hardy and Austin Jewell. Austin Butler.
Austin Butler. Yeah.
And Jodie Comer.
There you go. I love her.
And
Jodie Comer.
They're both really good films by two of my favorite writer directors of the moment.
So I again there too. I haven't again. The saying I should wear on a shirt is I haven't seen anything. But yeah, I can watch shows because I can usually get through them when Daisy's napping, but it's hard to watch movies at the moment. Did you go to the preview event for Disney's Wish? No. But you will be showing
I hope to be showing it in my class.
Yeah. So fingers crossed that will happen. But you have seen the short.
There's a trailer now posted for Once Upon a Studio. And if you want to see the trailer, if you're curious, fine. But you'll really have a magical experience, to use their word. Have a magical day, all that stuff. When you see the entire short, which is all of 10 minutes long, something like that.
Yeah.
It's quite wonderful and deeply felt.
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon, I'm going to see the week after next. And
I hope it's good. Hi-yo. So yeah, hope it's good. Again, there's so many films we've been hearing about, and then stuff has been pushed because of the strike. So sort of just waiting and crossing our fingers that these different things are good. I like good movies. I like good shows. I would like for there to be more of them. I'm watching the last season, which is season 4 of Sexication. It's a really good show. It's not going to be for everybody, but it's very genuine, I think. And everyone in it is so good. I think it's a very genuine show. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Hi, Mabel. And with that, I have to go take my daughter back from my mother because I can hear her running back and forth above my head. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us. We will be here next week, at least to the best of my knowledge. We will be here next week. Thank you so much. And you can always send us messages on any of the socially places, and we'll try our best to get back to you. Like that.
Take care, everybody, and be kind.
Bye. No, Victoria, I don't watch Dancing with the Stars. I never have. So, hi, Days.